Hey everyone, this is Chris and Sandy Benton with the Chris and Sandy Show. We get up close and personal, some amazing guests throughout the entertainment industry. And today, like I said on every episode, we got a great one for you. Who do we have?
We have singer-songwriter Cliff Dorsey with us today. He just put the finishing touches on his debut EP, New Neon, which was produced by the Swan Brothers. The first release, which is going to be a radio single, Raise One, is a rich anthem-style tribute.
And we're excited to talk to him and all about all that and then some. So welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast so far.
Same here.
The last few years have been rough for a lot of people, but especially in entertainment. So how has all this affected what you do, and what have you done to maneuver through this craziness?
So at first it was really, you had to go to Facebook Live. You had to go to an online live setting, and people had different groups set up, but then it kind of turned into outside shows. I mean, there was one point in time where I was playing at a private party. It was a gazebo, and everybody was kind of 50 yards away, type deal. And they all had their lawn chairs. And I've done a few things, some soundstage stuff that was live streamed, but it was definitely hard for people that made their living, such as I was playing restaurants and big venues. And I mean, there's no chance of ticket sales at all, no chance of a show. But personally, I mean, it was also tough just wanting to get out there, because I have my grandma, which I'm actually on her front porch right now. That's where this setting is. And my dad, he's retired from the railroad 45 years, and traveling around, I didn't want to put them at risk of getting sick.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
But I mean, that's how it's really affected myself personally.
Yeah, that's like for us, we launched this show January of 2020.
We did.
And my original plan was maybe 100 interviews our first year. I thought if we could do that, be a great foundation. And then everything gets shut down. And as I'm watching all this get shut down, I told Sandy, I was like, although we would never wish this type of opportunity on anybody.
Right.
But I was like, you know what, for a brand new show, this could be kind of a blessing in disguise, because everybody now is free to watch stuff. All the guests are free during that time. So we were like, you know what, let's just reach out to anybody and everybody. And because of that, we end up doing over 300 interviews that first year, and we're at almost 600 now.
That's amazing.
And if we didn't have 2 deaths in the family this year, we would be over 600 now, but kind of put us back a little bit with my dad's passing, and then her mom passing like 3 months later.
Yeah, it was definitely everyone had to adapt, and I'm sorry that y'all had losses during that time.
But this was this year. This was not from COVID.
Okay, this year. Got you. Well, I know that's hard to deal with, but y'all have a good thing going, and I know already from talking to y'all that you're going far already. I'm honored to be here, be a part of it.
We appreciate it, because we work really hard on this. And speaking of working hard, a lot of people, they see the glory in what you do, but they don't see the grind, the sacrifice, the tears, the struggles it takes to get to any level within entertainment. And I always want to talk about that side of it, because I think it's sugar coated out there. I want people, when they watch our show and they listen to the guests, they're like, before they make that leap, they know what they're getting into. So knowing that, tell us a little bit about some of the sacrifices you've had to make to even get to where you are today.
Well, I miss a lot of events, and I mean, I'm always, whenever I'm at the point right now, and been at the point for quite a few years, to where when you have a show opportunity, you do it. Then I'll take some time for some holidays and birthdays and stuff, and luckily people don't really want me to play on Christmas, but but every
other day.
But but also making your living off of shows. And I mean, in the past, like my 2 previous albums and everything, I was self-produced with my buddy Logan Fisher, which is also my drummer, and home projects. Had to, pay all my guys out of pocket, and that's something that we were working on, as well as the pandemic was kind of dying down to where we could kind of get in a room. I mean, it's not so glorious, but whenever, and there's a lot of no's, there's a lot of, just like anything great, you got to figure out a million ways not to do it in order to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
And the hours, for sure, that's the only way to
excel. We were just talking about.
Exactly. So to answer your question, I would say that it's not so luxurious, but at the same time, whenever it's what makes you feel like a natural person, like you have to do it. In other words, like that's something for me. I have to sing. I have to write. I have to. I don't have to get up on a stage, but that's just the product of doing the other 2 things.
Now, when did you, a lot of people would ask, when did you know you wanted to do music? And of course, that always goes way back, but I always like to go deeper than that. When did it click for you that music could actually be also a career for you?
I was 20 and I was working 2 jobs, one for a contracting company, one for Lowe's, home improvement. And, I was playing shows as much as I could at the time, which was 2 times, maybe 3 times a week. And there's a place in Florida called Cedar Key, and it's right there on the Gulf of Mexico on the West Coast. And they would call me and be like, hey, we had somebody call out. Would you like to come play shows? And I would be in the middle of, work or just getting off work, and I would go out there. Well, that built up to where I was getting calls on the way to work at times, and like, hey, can you do this? I'm like, man, I'm missing out on this. And, it's at the time compared to my hourly, I mean, I was working 40, sometimes 50 hours a week, like including the contracting company and getting overtime and stuff, but still doing what you love and getting paid pretty decent for it. And you go out there and people tip you and say, you got something going on. That's whenever you're like, okay, I'm getting better. I'm not saying that I'm there or whatever there is, but there's progress. And that's the way I looked at it. What I said earlier is the only way to really get better rapidly is to apply yourself to it and make it a kind of, you got to live, breathe, and sleep on it. So that was the dream. I quit both of those, and pretty soon I was getting 5 shows a week.
Wow.
And started at like a very low rate, and there was one point in time where I played 275 shows a year. And it was some band shows, but mainly solo. And now we're starting to get the band more incorporated in with this EP and with this single, and I'm super excited about that. I love my guys have been with me for quite a while.
So tell us about Raise One.
Raise One is a song that is to honor the unsung hero or the hero of our communities, the first responders, the military, veterans, but also it branches out from there. That's the focus that we're talking about right now. But there's a line in the song, whose work is never done, to the fight for what is right ones. So that includes the medical field. That include, we were talking about the pandemic, those people worked hour after hour, end over end. And they didn't know what to expect. They didn't know what was going to happen that day. And just the people that they sit there and they wait for disaster to strike, and then they get a call to go fix it. But for people whose work that's never done, the educators of our community, the teachers, people that are in our community that we see every day, and we don't really think twice whenever we get up in the morning, we get a shower, put on our clothes, and we walk out into a pretty safe environment.
Yeah.
And it's because of those people. So Raise One is raising a glass to those people in our communities.
And, you know, speaking of all that, I was watching the news the other day on September 11th, and they were talking about how the firefighters that went into those buildings, they knew going in that the odds are they're not coming back.
Exactly. And they went in just on the chance that they can help someone survive. They put themselves last. And I mean, those people have family. Those people, like every person in our military, I mean, for the most part, huge percentage has family waiting on them, and not getting to see their dad or their mom. And that's the songs for that as well. I mean, Mike Miller and Robin Collins wrote the song, and the Swan Brothers and I were sitting down trying to go through some songs and figure out what we were talking about different angles, and they sat down and took the time to ask, you know, what are you trying to do here? And one thing that I said to them right out the gate before we even heard the song, as we were about to go through songs, I said, I want to pick a song that connects, but also it performs a service for people.
Oh, wow.
And I think the service that this song provides to the listener, not only honoring those people, but reminding the listener that that is going on every single day. And I think it's a better mindset as you walk around your community, your town, and your state, anywhere really.
Definitely love that. So, as you know, a lot of people, they see you, but they don't see the team around you. In our opinion, teams never get any love, but on our show, they get a little love. So take a few moments and just tell us about the team that helps you be who you are.
Well, Black Sheep Label Group, it's been a pleasure to work with them. I've been signed with them for a little over a year now. We signed August of 2021. And they've been really supporting me. And like I said, along with the Swan Brothers, which were my producers in the team, they took the time to actually know, like, what do you want to do? What are you trying to do? And as I developed through song to song, I mean, at one point in time, when you listen to my old recordings, what you hear is a songwriter. I'm any song that I thought was worth something, I just wanted to make a recording. So there was, you know, this is this you know, this piece that I put out into the world. It wasn't necessarily like I was trying to build a brand. But they're super supportive and helping me grow every single day, giving me the resources that I need to grow. And then I can't have this conversation without talking about Emily McDonald, which is my manager. And she was working with me before we were approached by the label. Oh, wow. And like amazing friend, a marketing expert and genius, and overall amazing human being. Her and her husband, Jerry, have been super supportive of me. And I feel like they're kind of my musical parents in a sense. But as we talk about parents, we can go to my family. My dad, as I said, worked for CSX 45 years, is very aware of how hard work pays off and how hard you have to work to be there and apply yourself. And at first, I think he was a little weary, which no blaming him at the point that I started doing music and I wanted to do it. He was a little weary of me picking music as a career. And, but as time went on, he is, I'd say, really the biggest fan that you can have and biggest supporter of my music. And he's just, I mean, tickled to death proud.
And you know something about that whole parent thing about wasn't sure about this career path for you,
right?
But a lot of times, parent, you know, you look at the media, TV, and you see Blake Shelton, and then you see Mr. Joe Blow that's making no money. And so parents don't really get to see that there's actually many levels to make money in music. It's not just the super rich and the super poor. There are people making a living that you'll never hear of.
Yeah, correct. And especially from a writer's point of view. But going back to that, when I'm gonna bring my mom into the deal. She from day one was like, go after it, do it. Like no matter where it takes you. I mean, I believe that God gave you this gift and you need to go share it with the world. Just have God with you every step of the way and make your decisions on that, and it'll lead you to where you ultimately need to be, whether that's the career or not. It could be just a path down the road, but I think I may have took that and ran with it quite a bit. Maybe to where like Alan Jackson says in Neon Rainbow, you know, now she like wonders. Like but yeah, I mean, I have a huge support group. I can go on and on and on about that. But
and like I'd Cody Johnson says in his song, you know, if you got a dream, chase it, because that dream's not going to chase it.
Chase back. And I love some Cody Johnson. That is a huge example, and Blake Shelton as well. But that is somebody that has went through the whole process and is now because of his hard work and persistence.
And he's kept it within who he is. You know, that's one of the things I like about Cody.
Agreed.
Is, you know, a lot of times labels change you. And I hate to say that, but they do. But Cody has, you know, when you watched his path in his career, he's the same today as he was before he made it.
Yeah, I got to see him maybe 5 years back at Swanee River Jam. Perform on a smaller stage, and he treated that smaller stage with his band as if it was Bridgestone Arena. I mean, he was 100% in it, and that's like, you can tell whenever someone is going up there and they have a persona, or a persona, and whenever it's just like, I'm happy to be here. This is what I do. And I'm going to make the most of it every second. And
you know, that's like with Blake Shelton. We've got a lot of people that we've interviewed that was on his team on The Voice. And I always ask them off camera, because of course, don't know what answer they're going to give, but I always ask them off camera, what is he like off camera? And they're like, and 100% of the time, they've always said, what you see on TV is what you see behind the scenes.
Yeah,
I've heard that in many accounts as well, from people that have met him early in his career, even before Old Red. You know, the song.
You know, speaking of teams and family, we have a third co-host, our little 10-year-old. We bring on last few questions. So Sandy's going to go get him.
I'll get him.
Okay.
And while we're waiting for that.
Very cool.
Yeah. When's the last time you've been interviewed by a 10-year-old?
Last time my nieces were around in Georgia. I'm always interviewed by them.
That's cool.
I think that's
they might not be big interviewers on TV one day.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to say, hey, I was their first interview.
That's right. I'm gonna need an autograph mailed to me.
So what's kind of next for you?
Next, we have a whole lot of new music coming out. We are, let's see. So next for me personally, on September 26th, I will be turning 28 years old. And
happy early birthday.
Thank you. I'm going to celebrate with hanging out with Emily and Jerry We're gonna do a family celebration here before that, but I'll be up in Nashville, and we're gonna go see Chris Stapleton.
Oh, wow.
That's all I'm
We're
gonna
going to
say
be in
about
Nashville
that.
from October 2nd through the 9th.
Yeah,
Because it's our
very
20th
cool. October
anniversary.
2nd and 9th. Okay,
Because it'll be our
very
20th
nice.
wedding anniversary. So we're like, we're going to go spend it in Nashville.
Yeah. Before the 29th, I'll have a new song come out. It's called Girls Do. And that'll be the next single on the lineup. And yeah, I don't know where I'll be then though. That hasn't been planned yet. So maybe we'll be in Nashville around the same time. That'd be great cool if we could meet in person.
That'd be awesome.
Hey there.
So what's your favorite food?
My favorite food. I really like a good salmon or salmon, however you want to say it. Dinner, medium, broccoli, mashed potatoes, with a little bit of, garlic and bacon in there. After that, I can take a really good nap. And I think that's part of any successful meal.
Because what's yours?
Mine is pizza.
Pizza? What kind of pizza, though?
Kind of pizza, pepperoni sauce, and supreme and pineapple.
He's got 4 faves.
I was about to say, are you a pineapple person?
Because he didn't know for a while because everybody would ask that, and he never tried it. And finally, one day was at CC's Pizza where you could pick and choose, and he's like, "I want to try the pineapple." So he tried it, and he liked it. So.
Very nice. Yeah, I think I can side with you on the pineapple. I'm a pineapple fan on pizza.
Right.
Okay, so what's your TV show?
Favorite TV show? So I grew up on the Star Wars trilogy, and I think something that I can watch over and over right now is The Mandalorian. That song or that series, if I'm just hanging out, I'll put that on. It's kind of like an NPR Tiny Desk type thing, to where you're listening and you're doing stuff at the same time. And yeah, if I'm like having to work on something, I would say The Mandalorian.
What's yours?
Mine is SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. Now, I was a huge SpongeBob fan.
Almost everybody's been SpongeBob fan.
Yeah. The Flying Dutchman, anytime that he showed up. That was, whenever they learn how to tie your shoes, tie knots.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so what's your movie?
Favorite movie? Oh, that's hard. There's so many good ones. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? That was before I knew that I wanted to do music in general. That was all the music from there. George Clooney and his he's a Dapper Dan man. He doesn't want fop, all the stuff cracked me up. So Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
What's yours?
My favorite movie is The Minions.
The Minions. So have you seen so did they just come out with a new one? Is that the one you're talking about?
It's at the theaters now, and we've seen it.
I have not seen it yet. So
in fact, what's funny is we've seen it up in Nashville.
Movie might be that.
What's funny is we've seen it while we've been in Nashville several times this year already. And one of the times Sandy was like, you know what? Let's go see the Minions here in Nashville. So,
yeah.
Opry Mills, huh?
At the Opry Mills Mall.
Very cool. Well, I might have to catch that in the theaters. So we might have the same then.
Bye, thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Very good.
Yeah, he's been on almost every show, which has been pretty cool.
I love it. I love hearing on his favorites.
So if you could co-write with any artist, who would it be?
Ooh. Wow, you really put me in a spot now. I should have prepared for this. My initial thought, Jamie Johnson. And I feel like I should say one more though. Another thought that I had was Willie Nelson.
That'd be a good
that's
one.
great one too.
Yeah, maybe both. I think this has happened before, so maybe Jamie Johnson and Willie Nelson in the same room.
That'd be great.
So if you could bring back one or two artists who's passed on, who would it be to spend a day with you?
Keith Whitley.
That's a great one. Oh yes.
And then Johnny Cash, of course.
Yep.
Ours would be Johnny.
Yeah,
Johnny and Jim.
I went through 19 years of addictions until 14 years ago. But the first 5 years of my marriage was through them addictions still. And their story is so amazingly close to ours.
It definitely resonates with us.
So I love. In fact, we even had at the beginning of our show back in 2020, we end up having Anna Christina Cash on, who's married to John and
John Carter Cash.
Yeah, John Carter Cash.
Yeah. Very cool. And thank you for sharing that story, because that's very healing to people as well, people that are going through it and such.
Because again, it's one of them things where I surrendered it to God and been healed ever since. And I don't always talk about that on the show, but I do what I feel like it's right. And I try, because I try to respect everybody's opinions on the matter. Mm-hmm. But but there are times where it comes out.
Yeah. Well, there's no I don't think there's any arguing with you, Chris. I mean, that's the way to do it. I mean, what, you're being honest, like, you know. Yeah. And that's amazing. God is good. And,
he is definitely good. And
Johnny Cash is. Go ahead.
Go ahead about Johnny.
Oh, I was just gonna say Johnny Cash is one of the few people that my dad listens to on repeat. So he always tells me stories about how he was building a 52 Chevrolet car, rebuilding it, swapping the engines, such as that, and he would drag race with the car, maybe legally, maybe not, and that was always his go-to when he was working on the car, was listening to Johnny Cash. Songs like One Piece at a Time, and also with Freight Trains. He's big on that.
So as a songwriter, what's a song you've heard that you wish you wrote?
First one that I can think of is Marina Del Rey.
Oh, that's good.
I think that song is absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm No Stranger to the Rain, Keith Whitley.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Merle Haggard has countless ones. I would say one that I really like from him is That's the Way Love Goes. The slower one. And then Poncho and Lefty, which is Merle Haggard and Willie Nelson, but Townes Van Zandt wrote that song.
Okay, yeah.
So back in 2015, we got to interview Kelsey Ballerini before she was Kelsey.
Wow.
And one of the questions I asked her, which I always ask the guests the same question, is where she wanted to be in 5 years. And I always like to tell this story because the answer she gave us back then is to the T of what she's living now. I mean, she was focused and she knew where she was going. So knowing that, where do you want to be in 5 years?
I want to be, that's a great question because I haven't been asked that yet. Because my normal response is, well, better than I am today, both, mentally and, personal life and skill level on music. But I think I'm so used to taking it day by day that I don't think about that much. I would like to be recording, maybe another album or two, and writing a lot, and writing with people that are way better than I am, that I can learn from, and but having enough time to where I can spend with my family and playing playing shows that are benefits or raising money for very good causes, such as veterans. And I mean, I know they do some benefits for Kentucky every year,
Oh, wow.
like water supplies there and such. And so those are the things that I think about. I mean, it'd be cool to attend an award show because you're nominated for something, but that's not, if I never get that, that's okay with me. It's not really about that. It's really about the quality of life and the quality of work and what you do for others along the way.
Love that. So let's go deeper and let's look 15 years down the road, and let's say you're a success on a grand scale. Whatever success looks like to you 15 years from now, you've made it. What do you hope you never forget on the way to that journey?
Okay. I hope that I never forget the people that made sacrifices for me, that God is in control and knows what's best for every single one of us, no matter what we're going through. I hope I never forget the first few years of music, the struggle, the no's, the knowing that you're getting better, but you're not quite there. And that's still where I'm at. When I say not quite there, I think I'm there as in being happy and being able to do it. But there's always progress to be made. And lastly, I would say my hometown and my church and everyone that has had faith in me, has faith in me. And I don't think these are things that I will ever forget. How it was working 40 to 50 hours a week and showing up and being like, I'm doing this, but I'd rather be doing something else. You know?
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people mess up on in life. You know, they get in that rut of that 9 to 5 or 40-hour week. And for people that do that and love it, that's great. But there's a lot of people that don't love it. And they're missing out on so much that because they're so scared to take that risk of stepping out into the unknown. And sometimes you may go bankrupt doing that. You may, but that's one of them risks to where when you get to your deathbed, at least I don't want to look back and say, I wish I had. I'd rather slide in there roughed up and say, I'm glad I did.
Agreed. And I notice a lot of times when you become bankrupt or have a low in your life, that's whenever you create your best work.
That's true.
That's so true.
And you put in the work to be prepared for that day. And
I think they say that your average millionaires went bankrupt like 3 times in their life.
I'm sure. And who knows, even though they're a millionaire, they'll probably do it again.
They would.
Yeah, definitely. So what are some things that inspire you?
This sounds very I don't know, silly, if you will, but going outside like we are right now, and just taking a walk and looking at God's creation and seeing how nature lives its life, whether it be just a bird or
as humans
deer,
could learn
whatever.
a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
You can.
For sure.
Definitely.
But I think that's something that I do quite a bit to center myself. But people's hard work to do well, it's not just for their own intentions or to make $1. It's because they actually want to leave that thing that they're working on better than they found it. And I mean, going back to the song, people that sacrifice their time to make the world a better place. And like, we us as humans have experienced life quite a bit through different times and ages in the world, but it seems like war is inevitable, no matter how we try to negotiate, and how medicine has come a long ways, and people that they don't necessarily want to go out there and fight a war, but they understand that it seems necessary. And a lot of people are really affected by that and never get over it, and pay a huge price for it. PTSD, stuff like that. And even with our first responders, but those people are an inspiration to me. That they have that much valor and I mean bravery to make that sacrifice for people they know and people they don't know.
Exactly.
Absolutely. What would you like for your legacy to be in music? What would you like to be most known and remembered for?
Writing songs that affected people positively, and singing songs that do the same, and not only being good at my job and what I love to do, but being a good, somebody didn't mention in my he's probably gonna show up and like slap me across the head or something, but my older brother, he's 12 years older than me. He is definitely the refuge of anything that I don't understand, and amazing man. And being a good brother, being a good son, being a good uncle, one day being a good father and husband, and balancing those things.
Yeah,
that's it. And giving back to community and the world I live in. That's about it. And trying to have a smile on my face no matter what's going on.
I love that. Awesome. And what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Whenever you're not sure what to do, stop and listen and pray, and then continue to listen. Remember that, like, from that point on, I've always gotten an answer eventually. Whether it be something that shows up in my life, or a intention that was, something that I didn't quite understand before, but now all of a sudden I have a mentality and an intention that overcomes that struggle.
Definitely love that. So as we close out here, what advice would you give someone who wants to do what you do?
I feel like I got to steal a quote. And maybe they didn't say it exactly like this. So I'll make it my own. But as I said earlier, the only way, like, do what you love. If somebody wants to be a musician, put in the hours to do it. And Jason Isbell said, no matter what you sing, like, stay natural to you, because there's enough people in this world that if you want to have success and people listening to your music, there's all kinds of people out there, and there's enough people in the world to listen to your music. It doesn't have to be an award ceremony. It doesn't have to be chart topping, because I mean, if you really want to do this, that's not what it's about in the first place. And it doesn't, whenever you get that, not that I have, but I've, achieved some things. It's a nice feeling, but it's not what you expect. And it does go away and you're just on to the next thing. So don't chase trophies, don't chase accolades, chase being a good person, being a good musician, and doing it the way you want to do it, and be kind to people on the way. Because one thing in this industry for sure is
word gets around.
And how you work with people is they want to be able to stand being in the same room with you, even whenever things are going rough, not only whenever it's just a normal day on the job. So if they can't be in the same room with you, then you're not going to work with them.
Yeah, I remember hearing someone say that those you step on the way up will be there on the way down.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's also a Little Feat song, which I love that band.
Yeah.
So as we close out here, tell everybody how they can find you.
So cliffdorsey.com, you got a website on there. It has all the music that's available, all the shows, a little bit of a bio. Cliff Dorsey Music on Facebook, which this will be tagged in there, I imagine, or we'll tag y'all, however that goes, but they'll be linked up. Instagram at Cliff Dorsey Music, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Apple Music. Please go stream Raise One. Share it with your friends. Honor the person in your community and in your life that you think that song relates to. I mean, it's a service, and the song is for y'all. Yes, I'm singing it. No, I didn't write it. Amazing writers, Robin Collins, Mike Miller wrote this song, and I mean, it's for people. And other ways, come to a show. I'm playing 3 shows till Sunday right now. Played in Ocala last night. I'm trying to get around the U.S. and then later get around the world. But right now it's a whole lot of North Central Florida and Florida in general, and Nashville, Tennessee a little bit. So look out. We're coming, the band and I, and we're going to be playing some good music for you wherever your city is.
Love that.
Right.
And, we really enjoyed having you on the show today, and we definitely look forward to having you back for updates.
Thank you, Chris and Sandy. Really, I appreciate it. It really was a pleasure. And it's nice to have a conversation with great people such as yourself.
Same here. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And also the guest star, you have to remind me of his first name.
Oh, Christopher.
Yep.
Yeah.
Christopher. All right. Tell him it was an absolute pleasure.
Will do.
We will.
You have a great day.
Thanks.
Will do. And whenever we meet, we will order some pizza.
That sounds like a plan. Yeah.
You'll love that.
You'll love it.
All right. Thank you. Take care. Be well.